Around 5,000 years ago, during the late 4th millennium BC, ancient empires like Egypt, Mesopotamia, and China were expanding through conflict, yet at the exact same time, a massive superpower was thriving along the banks of the Indus River, largely hidden from the historical spotlight. The Indus River Valley Civilization was sprawling across hundreds of different cities and towns. It supported a population that peaked at nearly 5 million people. When examining the artifacts left behind by society of that size, you expect to find monuments to arrogant kings or records of celebrated generals in the Indus Valley. There is zero evidence of apocalyptic wars, standing armies, or royal conquerors. The excavations at sites like Mohenjo-Daro reveal a culture that had moved far beyond primitive survival. The complexity of these massive brick foundations demonstrates a society organized around perfectly planned grids, an advanced infrastructure. They maintained order and supported their massive population without the sword. This civilization managed millions of people through the strategic application of urban planning and infrastructure. The cities of the Indus Valley were built with a high level of foresight. Every structure, pathway, and room was integrated into a meticulously organized, strictly gridded layout. Managing millions of citizens in close quarters requires a specific defense against urban chaos and disease. Their solution was an intense focus on public hygiene. Underneath these planned city grids ran carefully constructed covered drains. They engineered a complex subterranean plumbing system alongside massive public baths to maintain public health. A full 1,000 years later, major European empires were still dumping their waste directly into the streets where they walked. The engineers of the Indus Valley had solved this problem in the 4th millennium BC. These grids and public baths served as a systemic defense mechanism. By cleanly separating waste from the population, they protected their citizens from disease and prevented societal collapse from within. Feeding 5 million people required an equally robust economy. The entire civilization relied heavily on harnessing the seasonal power of monsoon agriculture to sustain its population. To keep the society functioning smoothly, they developed a massive network of merchants and producers. Evidence from their graves shows a wealth-based social hierarchy where order was maintained through trade and economic exchange rather than a military force. Merchants used specific stone seals to conduct business, tagging goods to track ownership. Above the animal figures sit the characters of their written language. We have found no translation key that allows us to understand their laws. Even their massive settlement walls served an economic purpose. Rather than acting as military defenses, these walls functioned as strategic choke points, allowing officials to control entry, tax merchants, and regulate the bustling commercial hubs. Because we cannot read their texts, we cannot name a single person who lived during their 2,000-year history. Every architect, ruler, and citizen remains completely anonymous. Around 1800 BC, this civilization faced a multi-front collapse. The threat did not come from a rival empire, but from the natural world itself. This map shows the climate of the Indus region undergoing a massive shift. The area became significantly cooler and drier, altering the weather patterns they had relied on for centuries. This shift heavily impacted the vital monsoon rains. Without consistent rainfall, the large-scale agriculture required to feed millions of people began to fail. As the climate dried out, the region was hit by severe tectonic activity. Earthquakes literally shifted the ground beneath their cities. These geological shifts forced the mighty Indus River to change its course, migrating slowly westward. The cities were suddenly deprived of their most vital water source. The exact tools that sustained their society became their downfall. Their masterful urban blueprint, the advanced plumbing and irrigation, required water to function. And without the river, the infrastructure was rendered useless. The Indus Valley Civilization did not end in a single decisive battle. The society gradually petered out over centuries, enduring a slow, painful collapse between about 1900 BC and 1300 BC. Faced with severe drought and a slowly vanishing river, millions of citizens were forced to become climate refugees. They packed up and walked away from the greatest cities on Earth. This map highlights the projected paths of the Indus people as they migrated southeast. They pushed much deeper into the Indian subcontinent in search of hospitable land. This massive migration had a lasting impact on the cultural landscape of ancient India. Most scholars believe these migrants are the original source of the Dravidian language family. That language family thrives today. The distant echoes of the Indus people survive right now in the spoken languages of millions in southeast India, including Telugu Tamil and Kannada. The rise and fall of the Indus Valley provides a 5,000-year-old warning. No matter how brilliant a society's engineering and urban planning might be, every civilization is ultimately at the mercy of its changing environment.